Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our benefits workshop, Fertility Benefits 101. We are going to do a primer on fertility benefits. My name is Frank Candio, and with me today is our presenter, Doug Hessel. Doug, you want to give a little bit of your background?
Yeah, good morning, Frank. Yep. I have been a principal at Johnson & Dugan for the last 25 years, and I've been in the field for about 39 years, and had the joy of working with many wonderful companies as I've seen them grow and turn into do amazing things out in the marketplace.
And Doug knows quite a bit about fertility benefits. I think a lot of your clients down in the Silicon Valley are hugely interested in this. So we're going to leverage your domain expertise in this area. Obviously, fertility benefits fall into what is a relatively new category that are called family-forward benefits. And this trend towards family-forward benefits, we are going to get specifically into the fertility in a moment, but is really driven by changes in the workforce. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely, and mostly driven by the millennial age group of folks.
Okay, good. So let's get into it. Doug, why don't you just give a little background on fertility benefits in general? How long have they been around?
Yeah, fertility benefits have been around for decades, ever since I came into this business, but they were very primitive and also very rarely offered. What has been offered traditionally in insurance plans is treatment for diagnosis only. So a couple would go in with a problem, and the doctor would perform some tests to find out what is actually going on with that couple, and that part would be covered under the insurance plan. But then, the coverage would basically disappear at that point in terms of treatments and the next step forward. And what's happened over the last 5 years in particular is that the treatments are now being covered, and employers are not waiting for the insurance industry to cover what they want to cover for their employees. They're actually going out on their own and making their own plans in many cases. The insurance industry is slowly catching on, and now they're offering benefits. But this is definitely a hot topic, Frank, because in most of my meetings with my clients, this comes up over half the meetings now.
And where are they? Are they thinking about giving the fertility benefits? Are these clients actively saying, Doug, we want to implement this plan, or are they looking to get educated around it?
They want an education, and then they also want to know what's available out there. The first thought is, what can my current insurance carrier offer? Unfortunately, many of our clients are in the middle market. They're from 50 to 500 employees, and the insurance carriers really don't offer a great value or benefit for the most part for those employers. So it's a little frustrating, though that is slowly changing, and actually I expect that to pick up because the carriers understand there is a need out there now.
Yeah, the market is going to drive it, right?
It's going to drive it.
Good. Yeah. So talk a little bit about the problem around infertility benefits.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned, many plans only cover diagnosis. In fact, the vast majority, I'd say over 95% of our plans out there, the plans that our clients offer, only cover diagnosis of infertility. And this could be particularly frustrating because, for whatever reason, and there's a lot of different theories about it, but the millennial generation has had an increase in fertility problems. And so we have a lot of younger, childbearing age couples going in and having problems, going to their physicians, and they go in for, an exam, and they think, well, with technology and everything, they should come back with an answer. They think they're going to get an answer pretty quickly as to why they're having these problems. And unfortunately, oftentimes the answer comes back from their physician that it's unexplained infertility. It's an unexplained infertility problem, which really is kind of shocks the couple going in there, because they thought they were going in for answers, and the doctor who does this all the time says, we can't really tell, you seem to be fine, but it's unexplained. And then sometimes we're seeing an increase in there's something called mild male factor conditions that they allude to too, but it really still leaves the couple kind of searching for answers, and they thought they were going to get them. So, and this unexplained infertility problem is increasing. There's some good stats that I've reviewed on that, and it's something that needs to be addressed.
One of the good changes, though, that have happened, Doug, is that this is not considered a woman's problem today, is it?
It is
That's
not.
really
No,
changed.
no, it's really true, Frank. I mean, everyone just thought it's I'd say it's almost a 50-50 problem at this point. It's a couples problem, and I mean the good news is the couples both have the same goal: a healthy, beautiful baby. And but it is equally a male problem.
Okay, very good. So talk a little bit about why companies should offer fertility benefits.
Well, as you may have seen in some of the recent news, I mean, many major corporations, and I think it was driven by the technology business initially, but there are many other companies, like, for example, just in the last couple of weeks, Starbucks just augmented their fertility benefits. So the larger companies have, over the last, say, 5 years, have really stepped up and said, look, a lot of these are self-funded companies, so they're their own insurance companies, so they can make the decision, we're going to really offer considerable benefits like in vitro, which can cost anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000. I mean, these are really expensive benefits. But one ironic piece of information, you may say, well, God, why would a company just volunteer to offer $50,000 of IVF coverage? They must really like their employees. Yes, they do, and they want that message out that they're a family-forward and friendly employer. But the other interesting thing is that in the dark ages of infertility coverage, oftentimes women were given drugs that basically created situations where they would have multiple eggs drop, and there would be multiple gestational kind of outcomes where triplets, and we've all heard about triplets or quadruplets being born, and that may sound great if you have triplets that are healthy, but that's a very, very expensive proposition for the insurance companies, because here you have the insurance companies, they weren't covering the infertility treatments, but the employees receive them, then they would have triplets, and the kids would be in the NICU unit at the expensive hospital for 3 months, and it was running, and those claims were covered by the insurance companies, and it was running up millions of dollars worth of claims. So in some weird way, it is a savings to employers that actually are progressive in the way that they look at this. And it's actually, I'll go and some of the other things I'll hit on just quickly. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of data in terms of improved employee loyalty. Millennials, I talk to them, I have millennial kids, and they know about friends of theirs are having issues that want to have children, and they know what employers, they can tell you, you can go to a millennial party and say, hey, what employers in this area offer fertility benefits? I can almost guarantee you they will name those companies. They know, because they all want to have families. And there's a lot of data still. People think, well, our kids don't want to have kids. That's not right. Like something like 88% of them actually talk or want to have kids, and that includes the LGBT group. I mean, they want to be parents too. I mean, and that's another interesting part of this whole thing. So another positive outcome for employers that do augment their benefits is that they have a more engaged and productive workforce. We've heard this before. It's almost a cliche, but the stress of a couple trying to go through fertility coverage really takes away from their concentration at work. I mean, I know a couple actually just had a baby, and it was extremely stressful. I mean, it changed their lives for like a year, and it really put a lot of stress on the marriage and everything else. So it is a productivity play. The other thing that we see out there is that employers not only offering fertility benefits, to married couples, but also for, and this could be same-sex or opposite sex, but also, that the LGBTQ community is also supported. Now, there's some special rules and some things that we have to work with in terms of plan design, but employers are offering surrogacy for gay couples, and so they're not left out of this whole equation. So they're very much included in that. So, and again, the last point, and I'll hit it again, is it really enhances an employer's reputation if they do offer this, and particularly in smaller companies, because you're competing in Silicon Valley here with the Googles and the Facebooks, and if you're a mid-sized company and can offer at least some level of fertility benefits, it really sends a message that you're a progressive. You care about your employees and their families. And the other thing I want to tell you, Frank, is that people think, well, if we offer fertility benefits, are people just going to have kids and just stay home? And there are just amazing stats about something like over 80% of women that have babies basically come back to that employer. And it was especially a good feeling if they helped, with building their family.
100%.
Yeah.
So talk about getting started.
Yeah. So as I mentioned to you, the way to get started, again, this is for companies for between 50 and 500 employees. That's the majority of our clients. There are two main ways to get started. One is to actually make inquiry into with your current carrier, current health insurance carriers. I said they can be dinosaurish, they can be slow to move, but we're starting to see companies like Cigna, for example, who are saying, hey, this is a benefit that is in demand. We would like to have the clinical piece of this together too, because we don't want couples going to providers that don't know what they're doing. We want to basically send them to providers that offer the best in class or best practices in terms of actually dealing with fertility benefits. It's better for the couple, it's better for the insurance company, they have their own interest in there, and it's better for the employer that this isn't a long drawn out thing. So I say go to your current insurance carrier and ask, because it's a changing situation, it's getting better. The other thing that we do a lot of, Frank, is because we oftentimes get the message that the insurance carrier is still going to offer diagnosis only, or they'll offer some benefit, but they're going to charge through the nose for it. And in that case, we actually work with specialty third-party administrators, and we set up basically small self-funded plans, specifically dealing with fertility benefits, that the employer can pick the cap of what they want to offer, and then basically make that benefit available to them. The employer is self-funding it, but you put a cap in of $5,000 or $10,000 lifetime, something like that. You don't have to do what the Facebook does or Google does, but it still helps out immensely, and we have experience doing that. And there's some complex tax rules and things, but it's there are a lot of employers that are doing it, and it's getting clearer and clearer how the best way to do it, and we've been doing it with a number of our clients.
And I would imagine, Doug, that if you are an employee and a spouse in need of fertility treatments, even a little bit of help is a great help, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if $10,000 goes a long way. Yes. IVF, that's just one modality. I mean, honestly, as I said, there are many different ways to treat infertility at this point, and Fertility IQ really, if you go to that website, you'll just be amazed. But yeah, but 10,000 of 30,000, and you cover a third of it, that's still something and meaningful. Yeah, and we can set it up also to be a tax-free benefit as well. So.
Awesome. So, Doug, I appreciate you sharing your wisdom and your experience. You know more about fertility benefits than anybody, I think, in California. So,
well, yeah, I've been dragged through some legal departments of some major clients, and we've really kind of gone through and learned a lot over the last 2 years on how to set these things up.
Awesome. Your email address is on the screen for folks who want to get in contact with you to talk about this in a little more detail. Do you also want to give your phone number?
Sure. My direct number is 650-238-3231.